Let's try that. Is that okay? That's coming through. Hey guys, sorry about that. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm a little out of sorts today as my video card seems to have gone bad in on my home computer, so I'm streaming from my laptop so I actually can have video come through. So apparently my speakers and mic weren't quite hooked up correctly, but we should be coming through loud and clear now. Good to see you guys. RJ, Jason, welcome back. You are not newcomers to the show, so you know the drill. How are you guys doing?
Pretty
I'm doing
good.
great.
Been a busy day, but generally with good things.
Awesome.
I'll echo that. It's a lot of things going on, so and more the merrier.
It's funny, I feel like we're all matching energy levels today, which is basically like low. I
Been a lot. I've had a lot of meetings, but yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was my manic day. I was on top of it. I felt good about everything, and then today I'm like, oh God, when can I take a nap? Well, we have some Shadowrun stuff to talk to and some RPG division stuff to talk about today. But let's get some of the news onward here. So I've got the release schedule, as you guys love to know what's coming up for battletech. So on March 5th, we released the Battlefield Support Assault and Cavalry Lances Force Pack and the Inner Sphere Battle Armor Platoon Force Pack. Well, now we've got on March 19th, Map Pack City, Somerset Strikers Force Pack. I need to check on Legends 2 to see if that one's still on track to come out this on the 19th. House Davian Cavalry Lance Force Pack. I think I said Somerset Strikers already, but I was distracted by thinking about Legends. Battle Mat City HPG Engineering and Salvage Box Visigoth. So all of that coming to retail on March 19th. We've got a nice big list that I can't see over my laptop monitor onto my main desktop for April coming. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll keep giving you info on what's coming up. For Shadowrun
I just say
release.
right now that
Oh, go ahead.
I just say that being distracted from BattleTech by another BattleTech thing is like the most catalyst thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason loves when we are in any other meeting like Shadowrun or RPG and Battletech gets brought up. So
They do it on purpose.
it's like most days when I text you on Skype. Uh, so
On
then
purpose.
on purpose. Then we've got Shadowrun. So today we're going to talk about Deadly Arts, which is coming on the 19th, and we're going to also talk about Bad Faith. I I like went through three names in my head before I got there, but it always, whenever the emails would come through saying bad faith, I was like, oh gosh, what's happened to the community? So it causes me panic
Sorry,
attacks.
it's a triggery title.
I'm gonna need you to consider that more when you're naming products in the future.
I swear I picked out that title like 3 years ago.
Well, it's out of your form, Jason. It's not what final bet. Don't you have a usual pattern of naming for like 3 syllables?
Yes, my son Finn likes to get on me a lot that I do 2 syllables one and it's got the rhythm for so yeah.
Power plays.
Deadly Arts, Final Bets, Firing Squad. I do that a fair amount.
Can't help it that the
Of course,
rhythm
he's
is
going to
just
be
so
mad if
catchy.
he hears that because he was the one who came up with Firing Squad. So take that, Finn. You do it too.
Awesome. So we'll be talking
Completely blown that out of the water.
we'll be talking about those releases. We are also going to talk today about we are 9 days away from the launch of the Frostpunk Kickstarter. Finally. Jason's very excited.
Very
We had a meeting
excited.
with 11-bit this morning, and they're going to actually try to come onto a Tuesday Newsday the Tuesday after it launches. So very excited to have some of the team and the devs for the actual Frostpunk video game on with us. That's going to be fun. What else do we have? We have not much of an update for Leviathans, except that it's still on the water. Board game division, we have Flippin' Ninja is coming to retail on April 2nd. So we're very excited for that. We're also getting restocks in for Parachute Panda about the same time. So that had sold so well on our first printing that it sold out within 6 months. And it's finally done with manufacturing, done shipping, and coming back to stock here shortly. We also dropped a press release on Friday on our website for our partnership with Quincy of Quincy's Tavern. So that's going to lead to, there wasn't much news yet. We're going to have a board game and some swag items this year at a minimum. But this is going to be a several year partnership. So we're excited about all the things coming that we're going to work on together. And that's going to be a big deal. You should keep an eye out because I don't know if we want to say it. Jason, I'll leave it up to you. I don't know if we want to say it before the press release comes out on Friday for the RPG
No, I
division.
don't think we'll say the name, but
Okay.
we can just say that the RPG division will have a very interesting anniversary product or product celebrating a big anniversary that's not one you normally associate with Catalyst.
Yes. Yes. So watch our website
Dun,
on
dun, dun.
watch our website on Friday for that press release to drop. I feel like it's going to be the month of press releases here. It's going to be pretty great.
Yeah, not
And then
only did I get to help edit the press release, but I got to be really pedantic about grammar in editing the press release. My favorite thing.
your favorite things.
No one
Well,
else's favorite thing. Everyone else hates it.
awesome. And then I'm gonna head to my my YouTube moderator chat because they usually drop in the fiction for me. I've asked for some support dropping in links today because since I can't reach my keyboard, it's behind my laptop while I'm running tech from the laptop. So let's see. I think the last update I got on fiction. Feed me anything you want to feed me if you're watching, Michael. But it looks like aha. We've got Bad Faith has a pre-order link, so that's on Books to Read. So we're gonna drop that in the chat for you. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Michael. And that's a nice cover. And oh, look at that! It's by Jason Hardy. So why don't we start there, Jason? What's this Bad Faith stuff?
A legal thriller with undead. What more do you want out of life?
Awesome.
So yeah, it was just I don't know, I can't even remember how I came up with the idea years ago where I was like, what happened if a Shadowrunner became a lawyer?
Oh
Why did I
no.
think that? I don't know.
Dun.
But I thought, how would that happen? What would that be like? And especially what was interesting to me was how would they adapt their instincts to a new surrounding and how would they, have any sense of ethics? Neither Shadowrunners nor lawyers are famous for their ironclad ethics. So, but they, you have ethical considerations in each. So, how do you adapt? How do you try to figure out if you're going to be a good person? And then what happens when you find out that people are doing some weird stuff around you? And how do you look into it? And so I wanted to tie it into some kind of big, weird conspiracy theory. And then when it came time to actually write it, the right conspiracy theory presented itself.
Excellent. And that is going to become available on the 21st. Now, RJ, I believe I've been seeing in some of the conversations that you guys have been having on the internal message boards. How is this related to Deadly Arts? Is it related to Deadly Arts?
I have yet to get my hands on a copy of Jason's no doubt fine work, which I'm sure he will flog me for it later. But so I'll be just as surprised as you.
Oh,
But knowing Jason, he, like you said, he found the right conspiracy. I don't want to say what my theory is for fear of spoilers,
okay.
but if it
Okay.
is what I'm thinking, yeah.
So you're
So
just
I'll
going
it
to
may
have to
not
get.
tie into Deadly Arts per se. Yeah.
I'll just say that it ties into Lethal
You just have
Harvest
to
a
get
Oh,
it
little
Lethal
more than
Harvest.
Deadly
Okay.
Arts.
Okay. All right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So 321 for Bad Faith. And then this Friday, the 14th, Shrapnel number 20 is available. So we're dropping that link in the chat as well. So that's exciting. And then we have, don't forget, Augment number 1 is out now. So that is also, we're going to drop that link in the chat. So whether you want some good old short stories in the Battletech world or an in-world magazine by, it's Horizon, isn't it? Yeah, it's by Horizon. Check out both of those awesome pieces of fiction. All right, let's talk about Deadly Arts. Tell us about this new book that's coming out, RJ.
Okay, so Deadly Arts, quite succinctly, is the advanced combat book for Shadowrun 6 world. You know, everybody seems to like, you know, things like firearms, you know, rocket launchers, you know, all sorts of melee weapons and stuff like that. We've got that in a lot. This is a focus on for those people who like their tactical combat, who like their big pew pews and slashies. But we've also kicked it up a notch by actually including something that's been kind of hinted at in Shadowrun lore, but it's never really been explored, and that's the idea of mil spec. Okay, I mean we've all heard that term talk about, you know, certain grades of equipment, armor, and everything like that. Well, we finally given a nice look at what mil spec is really like in the sixth world. Now, Deadly Arts does have a very strong military flavor to it. As a matter of fact, there is a specific chapter in there that deals with how to integrate mil spec, you know, operations, whether it be military, straight up, or mercenary, or whatever, in with the Shadowrun game and doing it in a very cohesive way. So we've also got a lot of stuff in there that we've also got a lot of ideas and a lot of ways that you can integrate some of this stuff into a standard Shadowrun game without it becoming very powerful. Because some of the stuff we start talking about here, we're talking things like, you know, battle tanks, naval vessels. We're talking the high-end stuff where, you know, if someone were to call in an airstrike, could probably take out a Shadowrunner team just like that. We kind of realized it kind of ruined someone's game, so we've come up with a bunch of options to make it fun for players, but also kind of give them a fighting chance. But these are all, there's also a lot of optional rules for integrating some of this stuff as well. So it's not like, yes, this is how it's going to be. You poor Shadowrunners, you know, you're screwed. No. This whole thing is about giving players the opportunity to play at some of those higher levels of combat without, you know, turning it into something like a sister product, which always comes up, which I won't bring up at this point in time.
So I've noticed that back in November or December, we had the release of Tarnished Star, which was about law enforcement, and now we have a book about a lot of military stuff. Is this going to be a trend moving forward for Shadowrun?
Say necessarily a trend for Shadowrun. It's just they just happen to be topics that a lot of people have been wanting to know about, and we try to keep on a certain schedule. We release certain core books along with things like resource books and stuff like that. And then with the end of Lethal Harvest and everything that happened there, this just seemed like a nice, a good time to put all that stuff in and start talking about that, because a lot of that was touched upon in Lethal Harvest. You know, we had, you know, a lot of fights going on around the world, dealing with you know, that major meta plot, the Odysseans, and you know, it just seemed like a natural progression. Now we do have a lot of other products that are going to be coming out, which are going to kind of get a little bit more back to basics. So, and that's a lot of those products I'm very, very excited for. So is it going to be a trend? We'll see. We've already got a lot of ideas in the pipeline, but you know, can't really talk about them right now. Sorry if that's a tease, but I just want to get people interested.
Are you able to talk about any of the next releases that are planned?
Sure. Next one we got coming out. Well, the next major book we got coming up after Lethal Harvest, I believe Jason, and correct me if I'm wrong, because like everyone else, my brain's a little scattered right now. We have what was it? Margin Calls?
Margin Calls?
Or am I just way off on that?
Nope, Margin Calls is correct.
Yes. Hey, I can remember things. Yep. We've got Margin Calls, which is going to be, which again kind of dovetails after Lethal Harvest, but this is going to be about corporate stuff. So, that's going to be fun. All the corporate shakeup stuff. Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait. And then we have a companion campaign book, which is going to dovetail off of that one as well, called Risks and Rewards. So some of the fun stuff that you read about in Margin Calls is going to end up in Risks and Rewards. So that's some of the stuff we got coming out in the near future.
Awesome. And then along the way, I see little drops here and there from missions. What's going on in the missions world right now?
We've got more missions coming out. Our goal is to try to release at least one mission per month. I would love to do more, but we want to see how things kind of pan out with those mission releases. The next one we got coming out is called Urgent Care, which is about a bunch of Shadowrunners having to deal with some, I should say maybe some medical issues, but I'll let the descriptions on drive through and etc. Talk a little bit more about that one.
So two more of those books coming in that pattern of cadence, huh?
So and then
blame Aaron for his writer.
And then after that one, yes. So, but they do a great job, and I'm glad to have.
And then after that,
and we've also got some others. Oh, go ahead.
You were going to say, and after that.
I would say, and after that, well, let's just say we might be getting back to some street level stuff. So, dun dun dun.
Cool beans. All right. Anything else you want to say about Deadly Arts, which is coming on March 19th, or the one I just blanked again, Jason's book, because my head wants to not think about those things.
Faith.
Bad faith. Anything else to say about either one of those before we move on?
Just that there is a lot of if people are looking to get kind of their gear fix, Deadly Arts is definitely going to be the book for you. This sucker is loaded with a lot of new gear options, a lot of some new vehicles, and like I said, we've got a few naval vessels in there, so that's going to be fun.
Awesome. Bear with me if there's any delays as well. I saw in the chat that we were getting some echo, so I'm muting myself whenever you guys are talking, so that they can hear you clearly. So, all right. Well, if it's okay, let's switch over to talking about some frostpunk. Jason, 9 days away. It is happening. It is finally happening. Tell us the story of the frostpunk TTRPG for those who haven't heard it before.
I don't think we have that sort of time. I'll give the short version. So if you haven't played Frostpunk the computer game, then go play Frostpunk the computer game, because it's a fantastic game. It's all about kind of a late 19th century setting where winter descended, then descended even harder, and then never went away. So the whole world is frozen. Most people went up north because they had built cities centered around large steam generators, and you need to figure out how to survive in the extreme cold when most of civilization has collapsed. And the game is really good about throwing all sorts of complications at you. Just when you think you have enough shelter, you start running low on resources. And then just when you think you've got some resources, people start getting sick. And then just when you've healed everyone, oh, look, there's refugees coming. And it's always crisis after crisis. And a lot of times you have to make difficult choices. You could get more laborers if you put children to work. Are you going to do that? Because it's a little ethically dubious. Are you going to let all the refugees come to your city? What if they're sick? And you keep having to make those choices and think about what does it take to make a society work. And so we were able to get a license to do a role-playing game based on Frostpunk. And so it's a different sort of game. You're not going to be conquering monsters at all. It's all about how are you going to make your city work and what role are you going to be? Are you going to be the captain of the city trying to balance all the opposing forces? Are you going to be an engineer making sure the machines work? Maybe you're a propagandist trying to keep the morale of the city up while they deal with different adversities. Maybe you're a hunter or an explorer. There's a lot of ways you can take this game in. But at the end, it's all about what can you do to make sure your city survives. And it's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed playing the computer game. I've always enjoyed every opportunity to play the role playing game. We just played for a recording 2 days ago, and it was a fantastic game. And just every time I play, reminds me this is so much fun to play in this setting. And I'm really excited for other people to have a chance at it.
Awesome. What's it like working like I know we've talked about Shadowrun before and being able to work on that line for so long, but what's it like to like take on an entirely new IP after all of this time? That means a lot to a lot of people and has um, such a large and unique fan base.
It's a challenge because you have to try to both give people what they want, but also extend what they want, not just, do fan service, but try to build something that will help them continue their love of this thing that they started engaging with. And even then, people who haven't played the computer game, you want to give them a good experience too. You want them to be able to come to this game and say, I don't like computer games, but what is this? And you want them to engage with this world and have a lot of fun. And it's more moving pieces. I have to be engaged with the creators of the computer game to make sure that we're living up to their standards, and we have to do our work, and there's always a lot of standards to meet. So it's been a learning process throughout the time while we've had the RPG division, but that's kind of why we did it. So there would be some challenges and some interesting ways to deal with it. And then developing a new system is a fun challenge too. So we have a new role playing system that we're putting into this. It's the same system we used for the Voltron RPG that we kickstarted at the end of last year.
Awesome. So what can we expect from this Kickstarter? What can I get?
So you'll be able, of course, to get the core rule book. We'll also have a limited edition of the core rule book. We'll finalize in all the details on that, but it will be very cool and should have a cloth map of the Frostland in it. You'll be able to get an explorer's guide, which gives you more setting information, more plot hooks. So if you want to flesh out the world even more beyond the core rule book, you can do that. Dice and dice bags will be available. There will be some special frostpunk pins that you can get. And I think we're having a Lego generator, right? No, we're not. Ren was going to just punch me right through Zoom if I said
Listen,
I was
that
going to say,
for
it's the
real.
first time I've heard about that.
if
I know I'm
if
out of the loop,
if
but
the
wow.
funding gets that high, we'll talk about a whole lot more, I'm sure. But we have some cool ideas waiting in the wings, depending on how it does. Um, but one of the things that I'm really excited about is launching alongside 11-bit doing their own Frostpunk campaign. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this was a great opportunity that came up. Is that it turned out they're doing their own Kickstarter because they had some fiction for Frostpunk that they put together, as well as some art for Frostpunk 2. And so they're releasing some deluxe fiction and art books. And we, meaning the genius who is our marketing person, Rem, decided maybe it would be good to do those campaigns in parallel and make them sister campaigns. And so that's what we're doing is we'll launch on the same day. And so there'll be all sorts of Frostpunk goodness out there, whether you want more stuff from the game or the RPG or both. We'll be supporting each other in different ways. I mentioned that we played the game that we'll be sharing on video that we played 2 days ago. That was based on one of the novellas. The 11-bit people were nice enough to send a translation of one of the novellas so I could adapt it into a scenario for the role playing game. And what I found most interesting at the end of the game that we played is I gave some hints along the way to all the players that they were diverging from the novella a little bit. And I said, at the end of the game, I'll tell you what happens in the novella. But then once we got to the end, and I said, do you want me to tell you what happens in the novella? Every single one of them said, no, just send me the novella. I want to read it. Because that's how engaged they got in the universe and the plot line. And I think that shows the strength of what they put together. and we'll have a cool cross promotion item. And I'm really excited to see the final version of it when they get it to us. But there will be like these metal plates, one for the 11-bit Kickstarter, one for ours. And if you put them together, then they make a special piece of frostpunk awesome art. And you would only be able to get both of them if you back both Kickstarters.
Awesome. I'm
Back both Kickstarters.
back both Kickstarters. I'm so excited for this campaign. I think that I love Frostpunk. We found out when we did the actual play that that I have the most hours logged. I love this game.
I didn't look up my hour, so I wasn't playing on that level. I'm sure I have, more than two.
Well, and I know
But
that
yes, you have a lot of hours.
overall hours spent on this IP in terms of developing and making a product, Jason wins. So, but I'm really
Well, Ren
excited
is
for
a huge
this.
fan of the IP, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it's taken, how people start to play and engage with it. Um, I'm excited to see the overlap between both campaigns and how great 11 bits can turn out because this is something they haven't really done before either. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting campaign, and that is March 20th that launches. And I think Lorcan had put the Kickstarter, page in the chat. So thank you for that, mods. Anything else you want to say about Frostpunk or the Kickstarter, the RPG, Dice Core, any of the above?
Just that I'm really excited for this. It's been a long time coming. The co-creator of the Dice Core system, Randall Bills, and one of the writer or two of the other writers for it, Bryn Bills and Talon Coleman, were all playing on Sunday, and they all have their other responsibilities in the company, so they hadn't been as involved with Frostpunk lately. But this was a great opportunity for them to get back, and Randall especially was sending me notes afterward, going, "Oh yeah, that's why I love this game. It's so great to get back in this." And it's such an interesting setting, and it presents so many great opportunities for storytelling. And one of my favorites was when we were in the UK for UK Game Expo, and I was running a demo, and just like about 45 minutes into the demo, all the players looked around and said, so so we just need a social revolution, don't we?" Like, yeah, and how are you going to do that? And so it's just great to think about how are you going to do what you think a society needs. And for me, that's a perfect night of gaming, trying to overthrow society and make it better. Not for me. I thought they would have that as POD already. Yeah, I would hope they'd have some copies at Adepticon, because I know John was very proud of himself that he's going to have the latest issue of Shrapnel at Adepticon in print. So hopefully they'll have Hunger Like the Wolf too. That is a question for Ray. Now I know they're working on some RPG areas, but when we made the RPG division, we decided that the BattleTech RPG would stay under Ray's oversight. So that's his baby, and I'm not going to take away his baby.
Thank you, moderator, for typing into the chat that I am muted. Awesome. So, hopefully you picked up that the first two questions were Hungry Like the Wolf physical version, and any chance that the new RPG system for Frostpunk and Voltron gets applied to BattleTech. So those were Jason's previous, well, one previous answer, and the other one was physical version should be available now. If it's not, let us know and we'll notify John. Question for me, update on 40th anniversary hoodie restocks. I'm not sure there's going to be since we're in the 41st year. But if we have enough of a demand for it, then maybe we will. So email store@catalystgamelabs.com and say, give me that hoodie. And then we can forward all of those to our buyer. Leo asks when.
Is that exactly what they should put in the subject matter? Give me that hoodie.
Yeah, that has to be the subject line. The
hoodie.
subject line
Yeah.
must say, "Give me that hoodie," or else right to the trash.
I'm not mad about
Yes.
it. Leo asked about the hoodies, so that's a repeat question. So Kalos asks, do you know when the restock for things like Hinterlands will reach the US? I don't exactly know because I'm not part of the logistics thing. I did hear that the boat with Flippin' Ninja um and Parachute Panda is like arriving in 2 days or something like that. But I also know that Leviathans got delayed because of the congestion in the ocean congestion for boats with everything trying to leave China before tariffs went into effect. So I know there's been delays as well, and I have heard that there's a ton of battletech stuff on the water. So all I know is it's on its way. I don't have a for sure date on when it's getting here. Matt Taylor, is there any ETA for restock of Alpha Strike Commanders Edition? Same thing, that big restock is on the water somewhere, but I do know that, or I think that QML had our inventory basically for Mercenaries fulfillment. So as they're cleaning out the QML warehouse and shipping stuff back to our warehouse, we may be getting some before that big shipment gets in. Let's see. Chandler Reller asks, CGL and Battletech event question for the new Las Vegas Open from FLG for later 2025, October. FLG has Catalyst on their vendor hall map. Is there any details from CGL about events there? Not at this time. I know that like the big push for the first half of the year is Gen Con. So we're thinking about Gen Con events. We're getting them all in, hopefully by the due dates. Origins we're planning for. There's a whole bunch of big shows coming up that we're planning for. And my my more snarky answer is, oh, you think we plan that far ahead? Um, so I don't think we have specific event details planned for yet, but we will. Our newsletter, we're trying to get events posted in there regularly each month. So if you haven't joined our newsletter, we had Adepticon info this time. So you can go to catalystgamelabs.com and scroll down to the very bottom, and there's a place to sign up for the mailing list if you're not on there already. Speaking of which, I will stop and say, because it's gonna be a surprise or it's not gonna be a surprise. We've been talking for a couple of months now that we have a new website coming. The tentative launch date for that, unless something goes wrong, which probably something will go wrong, is March 18th. So we are 1 week away from a new website, theoretically. So store will be easier to navigate. It's cleaner. And then we'll be working on it from there. Once we get all the glitches and fixes done, we'll be finessing it from there to get more and more available. What else do I have? For Levs, Wargriz asks, what's the estimated date Leviathans will start shipping to backers? It just depends on our if everything goes smoothly. Again, I say that knowing that it's not likely because I've learned enough at this point to know that nothing is smooth when it comes to logistics and fulfillment. So I know that we were supposed to have Levs by March, but I know that the congestion of the ships got the ship pushed back. So by the time it gets to the hubs, and then we work everything, all the preliminary stuff out, which I know is in progress now with WebSphere, who's going to be doing our fulfillment. And then our relationships with the hubs and stuff like that. I'm betting April, but there's a chance that that gets pushed if it's pushed to May, if we're not quite ready yet. But I think so far things are hopeful for April. That's my
Warren is
current.
pushing hard for April.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, a couple questions from the forums, I think. Oh, and last minute questions here. All right, great. Ziguro says, will there be a book signing for Hungry Like the Wolf at Adepticon? Fans may want to buy a copy and get cover signed by Big Red. Big Red's gonna be there. So I don't know that we're gonna have like booth signings at Adepticon. I'm not sure what that schedule looks like, but absolutely ask Big Red to sign that, and he'll complain at you the entire time. It'll be great. Kalos asks if the website includes the MUL or just the CGL website. The CGL website. So that one first. MUL I've heard is very, very close, but I do need to get an update on how close is close. Battletech forum questions. Question for those of us still do a salvage box. Will we be getting a shipping notice and or a tracking number when they've shipped? I'm not 100% sure if the warehouse will do that. I know that we had issues where the quantity. So we didn't have the quantity of the singles, but we had them in the pop displays for retail. So then we had to put in a special request and get like 3 different people to approve it to break those pop displays into singles and transfer those SKUs. So it's been a little bit of back and forth, but those should be getting out. They've been sitting on them for a little while, so I'm starting to get cranky about it. But those should be out very soon. Potential question, is there some kind of distribution delay for non-Kickstarter products outside of CGL and Amazon? Second, Star League is showing up at my local store's distributor and multiple US online retailers with a May release date. Someone else asks, is this US or not US? All of my US stuff shows available. So here's how it's supposed to work. Whenever there's a street date, like let's say like the next one is April 2nd. Supposedly, the weeks leading up to that, the warehouse is supposed to notify all distributors that this is coming available and what that street date is, so that they can order up on it before that release date. I don't know that that necessarily happens. I think sometimes what ends up happening is that the street date comes and then everyone's notified, and then they can place their orders. And like we've said 3 or 4 times now, there's a lot of congestion in shipping at the moment, and with tariffs and everything else, availability may be harder.
There's
to
one
get.
distributor that has been going through some stuff too.
Yeah. Alliance, the announcement with Alliance is a struggle and stuff as well. So, I'd hang in there. It's just a season of tough logistics, all around for, warehouses, for distributors, for us, everything. It's been a challenge. So, all right. Any last minute questions, before, we can wrap up early? If not, I'm going to go check the chat real quick, see if there's anything I'm missing. By the way, I see that one of our freelancers, Danny, is in chat. Hi, Danny. That's Cottlesworth. What else?
Hi, Danny.
40th anniversary mug isn't appearing on sale. It should be. So if it's not, I think Michael might still be listening. Hey, Michael, can you tattle to Talon about that? Let's see what else we have. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, update on Voltron. Sorry. I saw that from Crazy Slane just came in. So I think we're getting a mini update out either yesterday, today, something like that.
We saw one just go out. Yeah.
It just went out.
I saw one about the pledge manager that went up on the
Yeah.
Kickstarter page. Yeah.
So we had some delays with pledge manager approval. So it's ready. It should be going anytime. I asked one of our people working on it to go up the chain to see if we could push it along, but at least give a backer update saying, "Hey, it's coming. It's ready. It just needs to launch with however backer kit does that, and then it'll be live, and we'll get a bigger update out." But Jason, if you want to give an update on how production's going.
Yeah, the first chapters of Legendary Defender have come back from editing, so more chapters are in the editor's hand and should be back to me this week, and they should have the whole book done through editing within a week or two, and then we will push Legendary Defender through the final approvals process, get it then laid out, and then off to print, and then Defender of the Universe will be not far behind it. So the books are moving ahead. Defender of the Universe is a little slower because we had plenty of art available for Legendary Defender, but are having to create art for Defender of the Universe, and then we had an art director transition that slowed that up, but that is moving ahead. So the original art is moving ahead, and we will be showing you some of that original art as soon as we get it approved.
And then I know the board game is moving forward as well. I did get an update on yesterday during our board game meeting, but I am totally blanking on what that was because my brain is just not having it today. So I can look for that. And then also, I know that we're really close to getting you guys photos of the prototype for the plushie. They've been hesitant to send the mock-up images because they just look images for a plushie just always look really bad. So they're trying to get the actual one to get photos of now, and then we'll be releasing that. Um, and then I'll look for, let's see. Um, it looks like we're 2 weeks away from having all art in on the Voltron uh, board game and approvals, and then it'll start layout. Um, I think the art actually is turned over and in approval. So we're expecting within 2 weeks to have that approved and then do layout is I think what I'm remembering from that
Yeah, the
conversation.
Voltron people have been pretty good about 10 business days turning around material for approval. I imagine the book will take a little longer because reviewing, 70,000 words takes a little longer than reviewing images, but for the art, I would think they'll stick to their 10 days.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in chat. So thank you guys, Jason and RJ, for joining in. Don't forget, to shout out that mug question that there's a 35th anniversary and 40th anniversary sale going on the web store right now. So check out that product before it's gone. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there is. Again, it's just not a good day for me. But thank you both for being here.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Always a pleasure.
And for you guys, thank you for being here as well. I do have some exciting guests coming up. Like I said, 11-bit will be on, and then I also talked to Trendane Sparks, the voice of battletech for a lot of the audiobooks, and he's going to be on in the next several weeks with us as well. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you and your support and all you do for the community, and we'll see you next time.